Tony, let me transition into this topic. I'm curious to know what you'll say about this. So, I've been in sales for 25 years, and I've recruited salespeople for 25 years. And, at first you're kind of like, oh my God, I'm going to help you. You're going to become this. I believe in you. And then you're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I can't save this guy. I can't save that guy. Then you pattern, and you're like, look for patterns of the individual. Okay, he's got the right attitude. She played sports, is used to challenging, is used to hard work, came from a team environment. Okay, then you look for certain patterns, and you'll start seeing certain people. Do you think some people are, and this could be just politically or personality-wise, do you think some people who are math people and logical, they're conservative, do you think people that are born more with creative, right brain, they're liberal, and then maybe even some of the zodiac, I'm curious to know what you'll say about zodiac, is there certain people where you'll see patterns to say, that guy's independent, he knows how to entertain both ideas, and then say, here's what I think we need to be doing, right? So, and then negative and positive. Are there people that you believe are born negative, positive? Like, is there such a thing as a crap magnet? Somebody that they just can't help themselves, they can't be saved. Do you believe in that?
No.
Okay.
I do believe we have nature that we're born with.
Okay.
And I look at lots of different patterns to understand what makes somebody tick. Not just one. I use Chinese medicine as one to notice, is this person more water? Are they more wood? Each of those qualities, you're kind of born with certain things. If you're wood driven, as an example, in Chinese medicine, you're a pioneer, you're driven, you push. This would be a very strong one for you, for example. That wood person has got to grow. That wood person, they face challenges with more intensity. Every one of these also under stress or in a negative state, their positives can become a negative. Those people get angry very easily if it doesn't move forward, right? Steve Jobs would be a perfect example of that, right? It's like, if you know Steve Jobs, he was brutal, right? But he was committed to the outcome, whatever it takes. If you get around somebody who's fire-driven, this is somebody who's born where they're always joking. They're super optimistic, everything's funny, and some people are irritated by them because they're cracking up about when they're talking about something serious, right? But fires burn. They have this tremendous energy. But fires also, they burn out very quickly. If one of the things they have physiologically, because Chinese medicine treats everyone differently based on your constitution, right? Physiologically, if they don't eat, they get hangry. My wife is a fire, by the way, and I'm got very strong wood and a lot of strong fire. So she has got this tremendous energy and excitement, but we don't go anywhere without food, because we know what's going to happen, right? The sweetest person on earth is going to become crazy. If you're somebody more earth, you're more the person, less extroverted, more, you're the peacekeeper. What you care about is everybody getting along. You care about harmony and the community. My second strongest is actually earth, because that's how I build communities. That's what I do. That's why I care as deep as I do. Then there's some people that are metals. By the way, these are based on the seasons. They just look at fall in two levels. They look at the beginning of fall, end of fall. Beginning is earth, the end is metals. And metals is someone who is very, very precise. Everything has to be a very specific way. They're very elegant in their delivery. They think things through very, very specifically. And the challenge for them is if it doesn't go exactly that way, they can get very frustrated and get a lot of grief in them. And then there's water. Water's like the philosopher, the person that they lose themselves in things and they go off. And by the way, we have all these qualities, but it's which one's strongest in you, right? The water wants to know truth, and they think it through, and they lose themselves. So just as an example, understanding those, that's one typology. I use dozens, right? That helps me know that, okay, in my life, my wife's fire. I know that this is my fire. She's going to burn this way. I don't get upset by it. I don't think she should be like me. If I got a son, which I do, that's more earth, he's not going to be as driven as me. I used to think he's got to have the same drive.
Jarek is?
Yes, he's unbelievable. He's got a heart of gold, and he works hard and does a great job. He's an unbelievable coach.
You can say he's a sweet guy. He's sweet.
He's got more earth.
Right.
He can fire off his wood, but it feels a little not natural for him as real, right?
Sure.
And then, I can look at my other son is fire. He's always cracking up. So each of my kids are differently as well. I've got, in my life, my wife couldn't carry. So we have a woman who's been with us for 12 years, a dear, dear friend, traveled with us everywhere. Her name's Mary. And Mary's part of our family. And she carried our child, our latest child, because my wife couldn't carry. So we're a family. We didn't send her away.
Surrogate.
Yeah, she's our surrogate, but we kept her. So we even made her the VI of Sage Guys that she's the person who ends up with our child. That's how deep it is. But she's very much a water person, Mary is. And so like if we want to go to a movie, and I'm going to a movie to escape, I want to go take off, here's the time of the movie, let's go, right? And then I'm like, where's Mary? She got caught up in something. And I used to get frustrated about it. Now I anticipate it. Mary's going to get lost, so I'm going to let her know it's 15 minutes earlier. I'm going to go find those reminders, and I don't get upset about it. So my point is, I could give you a dozen of these examples. This is only one example where understanding people's nature is where now you can empower people the most, not making them be like you. That's the problem people do with their kids. You have how many kids?
4 of them.
4 kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't have a favorite kid, but do you have an easier kid?
Do I have an easier kid? Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't he more like you or she?
Well, the one that's more like me is super competitive, but I don't have a challenge with any one of them.
That's great.
I'll tell you, like one of them is, oldest one is purely politics and fighting. He reads and devours books. Like he just finished a book on Thomas Sowell, 600 pages. He just, he'll go through Atlas Shrugged, Fountainhead. He'll just kind of go through it, right?
Yes.
The other one is...
How old is he?
He's 12.
Got it.
The 11-year-old is a sports guy. He trains every day 3-4 hours. And for soccer, he's got straight A's.
Yeah.
And his worst grade is 93.
That's awesome.
And he's extremely independent and prepared. My 2 girls, obviously youngest one is 3. She's just the most charming, charismatic out of the entire family. But I would say a couple of them, my oldest, my wife would tell you, has a side of my personality and a side of hers. And my youngest son has a lot of me in him.
Yes.
A lot of me in him.
Yes.
So he likes to always be around me.
Yes. The one that's most like you is usually the easiest to influence because you try to influence them the way it would influence you. If you clean your room, what worked for you, you'll do with that kid and he'll respond. The other one might say read between the lines or maybe you won't do that, but certainly not going to respond, right, at the same level.
I think what you're trying to say is, and babe, if you're listening, he's trying to say have more kids so you can, I'm trying to get my, that's how I interpret it, Jen. But go ahead. You were saying, I digress.
I love that. No, I'm just suggesting that most people are good at influencing people that are like themselves. And that the more you understand how people are different, to influence another person, you have to know what already influences them. And so when you're talking about these people that you're describing in salespeople, here's a question for you. Can you take a very non-social person and make them into a great, can they be a great salesperson? Could they do well in a sales job?
Great. You can make them a 7. Can I make them a 9 or a 10 naturally where another guy's naturally comfortable doing that? Probably not.
Probably not. You could probably do a 9 for a short period of time when they're really hungry and driven. But the second question is, will they do the job well long term? And the answer is no, because it doesn't match their nature.
That's right. I agree.
If you take someone who's very super social and make them an accountant, can they do a good job? Yes. Will they do a good job long term?
Bored out of their minds. They got to get out. They got to be around people.
So you have to match the nature to the person as opposed to saying this is the wrong person. You've got people you brought in that maybe you didn't recognize the patterns yet of who are the best. One of the ways we do it in salespeople in all my companies, I learned this from a partner I had years ago who passed away. We know that we need somebody in that position. I want someone in that position that cares, that connects with people. But if they care so much, sometimes they just accept limitations. If I accept your limitations, then there's no growth for you, right? There's a sale's always made. Either I persuade you what's possible, you persuade me what's not. Yeah. So you need someone with ego strength who can take rejection. So what we do in our companies, we have a standard process. We put out an ad, let's say, that says looking for the very best influencers, top of the line, world class, nothing less, great opportunities, great economics. Call only if you're world class. And then they call and they say, I'm calling for this job. And they talk for a few seconds and we say, oh yeah? Well, you don't sound world class to me. The person says, well, can you tell me about the job? No, tell me about you. And within a few seconds, we usually hang up the phone. Now, we do that with everyone, even the most talented people. Mm-hmm. Why? Because we're working for the guy that'll call us back, and he'll say, oh, it must have been a bad connection. You disconnected from me. We said, no, we just weren't getting it. And we'll hang up again. The person will come 3 times and we'll use humor or connection or break our pattern. That's the person we now take to an interview. When we do the interviews, we do the same things. You get rejected so many times going through our process that only the absolute strongest ego's there, but we're also looking for the strongest caring. So we look for someone, I think of it this way. Good people are found and then trained, not just trained. for a particular position. It's different for everybody based on their nature.
Sure. Nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.